Your phone is faster than ever. Your apps update every week. Your devices are smarter than anything from a decade ago. And yet, you're restarting your laptop more, not less. Apps crash 27 times per 1,000 launches. Software you once owned now charges you monthly just to keep working. Everything improved on paper, but the experience got worse. To understand why, you have to go back to when things actually worked. A flip phone from the late 90s could sit in a drawer for a year, power up in seconds, and let you call anyone without a single update. The buttons were solid. The screen was tiny, but it never froze. You could drop it on the sidewalk, snap the case back together, and keep going. Analog cameras had just a handful of controls, one for focus, one for shutter. Every click felt the same. Every photo developed as expected. Manuals were short. Repairs were simple. If your desktop crashed, you followed a printed troubleshooting guide. No online forums, no endless error codes. Average mean time between failures for those desktop PCs was 2,200 hours. Feature phones scored 7.8 out of 10 for repairability, thanks to modular parts and screws you could actually see. Most devices had just a dozen user-facing features. You learned them once and never needed to relearn them. The instructions were clear: press the red button, listen for the click, then dial. That was it. Psychologists call this chunking, grouping actions into simple, repeatable steps. The less you had to remember, the more you trusted the device. Even the sound of a floppy disk spinning meant everything was working. Maintenance wasn't a mystery. It was a ritual. Battery dead, pop in a new one. Something broke. The solution was in the manual, not buried in a forum or locked behind a paywall. People remember the tactile feel of real buttons, the predictability of a single click SMS, the comfort of knowing exactly how long something would last. When marketing said built to last a decade, they meant it. That's the benchmark, the feeling that technology simply worked, and you could count on it. But that's not where things went wrong. In January 2007, a single device changed the world's expectations overnight. The first iPhone didn't just look futuristic, it actually delivered on the promise. For the first time, you could browse the real internet from your pocket, pinch to zoom on photos, and send emails without squinting at a pixelated screen. No more T9 typing, no more pixel art snake games, just a smooth glass display and a single button that did what you expected every time. Within a year, the App Store opened its doors. Suddenly, developers everywhere could build apps for anything: maps, music, messaging, even banking. By July 2008, there were over 10,000 apps available, and more than 300 million downloads in the first year alone. It wasn't just the iPhone either. Broadband speeds doubled in the late 2000s, and Wi-Fi hotspots started popping up everywhere. For millions, the internet became truly mobile for the first time. Tony Fadell, one of the architects behind the iPod and iPhone, summed up the mindset. He said that they built the iPhone by refusing the urge to cram every idea into one device. Simplicity is a discipline, not a feeling. Everything felt faster, lighter, more connected. You could call, message, and check the weather in seconds. The old barriers, slow load times, clunky interfaces, missing features began to vanish. For a while, technology really did make life easier. But that's not where things went wrong. By 2012, the promise of smooth, reliable tech collided head-on with a new kind of chaos. Windows 8 dropped its Metro interface on millions of unsuspecting users. The Start menu, a familiar anchor for decades, vanished overnight, replaced by a grid of live tiles powered by a new layer called WinRT. This was not just a fresh coat of paint. WinRT stacked on top of the old Windows core, every click bouncing between two worlds. The result? Apps that looked modern but crashed without warning, blank screens that left users guessing, and a wave of white screen of death bugs that Microsoft's own engineers struggled to fix. Apple was not immune either. In 2014, macOS Sierra unleashed a new iCloud sync daemon that burrowed deep into the file system. On paper, it promised seamless access to documents anywhere. In practice, saving a file could stall for 30 seconds while the system phoned home. Entire folders vanished, only to reappear hours later. The official support docs called it expected behavior. Users called it a disaster. What happened? Each new feature meant another layer, another dependency, another chance for something to go wrong. Predictability. once the backbone of digital life, was replaced by a tangled web of invisible processes. And this is where everything changed. Apps that used to launch in a heartbeat now freeze or crash for no clear reason. Android telemetry from 2023 shows the average crash rate at 27 per 1,000 app starts, over 5 times what it was a decade ago. One missed update and your banking app refuses to open. Another and your camera stops working on half of Samsung's lineup. Fragmentation is not just a buzzword. It means 2 people can own the same phone model and have completely different bugs depending on which carrier or region they are in. A product manager at a major Android vendor put it bluntly, "Every week we push a patch, every week something else breaks." The update cycle never slows. In 2024, Android's Project Mainline delivered new core libraries every single week, bypassing the old operating system update model. That speed comes at a cost. One faulty library can knock out thousands of devices in minutes. Meanwhile, users are left guessing, restart, clear cache, reinstall, or just wait for the next patch. The old certainty is gone. Instead, every update feels like a gamble, and every new feature is another roll of the dice. But here's the part no one talks about. These failures are not random. There is a deeper reason why the pain keeps piling up. In 2013, Adobe did something almost no one saw coming. They scrapped the one-time software purchase and locked their entire creative suite behind a monthly subscription. Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere were no longer sold as permanent installs. Tools that once lived on your hard drive forever were suddenly rented per month and tethered to the cloud. The price was $49.99 per month for the full bundle at launch. By 2024, the annual cost for a single app had climbed to $69.99. Within 5 years, subscription revenue made up over 70% of Adobe's total earnings. The old certainty that you could buy it once and use it for years vanished. Now, missing a payment could mean losing access to years of creative work overnight. But Adobe was not alone. Across the tech world, money started flowing in new directions. Instead of selling a product and moving on, companies began chasing recurring payments and endless engagement. Facebook and Google built empires on advertising. Over 90% of Meta's revenue in 2023 came from ads, not from users. Every extra feature, every notification, every tweak to the interface is designed to keep you clicking, scrolling, and coming back for more. The more time you spend, the more data they collect, and the more ads they can sell. And here is the part most people miss. When profit depends on monthly payments or ad impressions, the product itself starts to change. Features pile up, interfaces get crowded, and updates arrive whether you want them or not, all in the name of growth. But that is not where things went wrong. Every tap, scroll, and pause is now a data point. Modern apps don't just react to what you do, they watch, record, and predict your next move. The moment you open a weather app or check a map, background trackers light up, sending your location, device ID, and even battery level to a dozen unseen servers. It's not just about ads, it's about building a profile so detailed companies can nudge your actions without you ever noticing. Interface tricks, known as dark patterns, are everywhere. The bright button says allow, while deny is hidden in grey text. Pop-ups guilt trip you into turning on notifications. Consent dialogues split choices across 3 screens, hoping you'll just tap agree to make it all go away. Researchers at Princeton found that over 95% of top apps use manipulative design to steer user choices. Every extra permission, every forced update is another hook for data extraction. This isn't a side effect, it's the business model. Shoshana Zuboff, author of The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, puts it bluntly. When every update is a data harvest, simplicity becomes a Trojan horse for exploitation. The more friction you feel, the more data they collect. And that's no accident, that's by design. But that's not where things went wrong. Right now, every update promises progress, but too often it trades your control for convenience. As platforms automate more choices away, the real risk isn't buggy tech. It's losing the power to shape our digital lives. The future of technology is still up for grabs. Make your choice count.